Hey, hi, hello, thank you, welcome back to my returning viewers, I should say. And if you haven't watched my videos before, I'm Samantha, and this is just the third part in my alternative vlogs Distressed Damsel series. This is part 3, so if you haven't watched part 1 and 2, you should probably go back and watch them if you don't know who this person is. And I really just wanted to explain really quick why I haven't made a video in a while. I mean, there isn't really some huge story for some of the people involved in this. There's some big, huge story, but mainly I just kind of wanted to let things die down and quiet down. Well, because it got very heated and a lot of stuff going on there for a while with, to be fair, not necessarily the person this video is about, but with their friend Eric Tiger. And then Granddad's Lounge promptly came in and just kind of shut that down, and it's been pretty quiet ever since. And it kind of gives you time to like step back and look at a lot of the things that, like, okay, maybe this was just a particular point in time, and like see how a person's behavior has maybe evolved since then. Spoiler alert, the behavior didn't really evolve. It was like a false evolution. Like, you think, oh, are they evolving? No, not really. You thought so, but not really. After a lot of time has passed, it seems as though what's going on with Brianna is that she is attempting to rewrite history, since hopelessly realistic, like the main person that was involved in like against her has kind of gone quiet, more or less. So now is the time for her to pretty much come in and like rewrite history. Like, the main thing that I noticed was that made me actually really want to make this video is her, like, the screenshots that I used in my previous videos on her OnlyFans advertising her child altar in a bath time video, things like that. She, at first what had happened is she had claimed that her ex Mark was abusive and manipulating her based on her mental illness and her inability to really suss out what's what at any given time, and that he was controlling all of her social media, and that he did this. And that, take it or leave it whether or not you believe it, but that was the story. And now that a lot of things have happened in the world, like Creepshow art, a lot with Emily Artful and all that kind of stuff, now the story is that the photos are all doctored. They're all fake. And so it's, one makes sense, be it one or the other makes sense. Doctored photos makes way less sense, but you know what I mean? So I just kind of wanted to come in and leave this last video part, especially after she's trying to rewrite the truth of everything, because my videos are still up and they'll stay up, and especially like this video, like all of the behavior is super recent pretty much. So you can take that as has a person changed when they do bad things for a really long time, and then they stop, and then they keep doing those bad things? Don't really think that's an evolution, but I will leave you to decide for yourself. That was longer than I wanted this intro to be, but let's get into it. So I found this article really early on into my research into the Distressed Damsel videos and all of that stuff, and I think that it's probably one of the most essential things that people read if they don't have DID and they're just watching her thinking that she is what DID is.
Exactly. And you know what? It seems like everybody that decides that they want to start a YouTube channel about DID, it always seems to be about switching and educating and meet my alters and all of this stuff. And like, it just sucks really bad, because there's a time and a place for meet the alters. There's a time and a place for education, you know. YouTube is really not the place to be, you know. Yeah, meet the alters, that's fine. Like, I have no problem with meet the alters, that's fine. But it just sucks, because it gives people the impression that we can choose when and where we switch. Like, if we can choose to have a meet me video with this person, then that means that you chose to be that person, and therefore you chose it. You know, it just sends a bad message to people who don't know about DID. And the thing is there's people out here that are break the stigma, end the stigma, and then all they do is just regurgitate stigma.
I really just wanted to like interject this here because I feel like it's not about lying or anything, but it's basically the most hypocritical thing that she's ever said about how, oh, you shouldn't start out a channel with Meet the Alters, which is exactly how her channel started out. And then, it shouldn't be about educating, and then like YouTube isn't really the place, but that's exactly what she's attempted to do for all of these years. And it really, really just is like, this you though? You know what I mean? Like, other thing that just like she got exposed for it and then tried to like scrub any evidence that it ever happened. But talking about like, she like schedules, Dissociated did the exact same thing, and then when she realized how much it made Dissociated look like they were faking, because they were, like, she immediately pulled it and everything. But she has scheduled live streams and chats with specific alters. This day at this time, chat with Chloe, and one of her followers said, wait, so you can choose to be a specific alter at a specific time? Like, doesn't that not make sense? And that's when she pulled the whole post down, like, and then she made a statement saying, you know, alters can't just show up whenever you want, like, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, again, especially was the this you with the Meet the Alters, la, 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 thing. And because her Instagram used to just be like her thing and then her bio, and then all of her highlights were the different alters and like putting on makeup and all this, and oh my god, nani nani, like I'm putting on makeup on my different alters, like I don't know if that was a fish, I don't know what that was, but that's what it seems like to me. It's just ridiculous. And like, while it would be totally fine to have these opinions, her criticisms of other channels, DID channels, has become increasingly more harsh and more hypocritical the longer time goes on. First it started with the meet me thing, and then it was alters doing different makeups, and then it was alters dressing different ways, and then it was, oh, teenagers, if you're under a certain age, you're automatically illegitimate. And it's basically just been a continuing ramping up of rules for thee but not for me. If you haven't heard that phrase before, rules for thee but not for me. That's how she lives her life, at least when she goes spewing all that stuff.
Y'all want to say I'm on drugs? Y'all want to say I'm on drugs? You would not see me if I was on drugs. I would not be here. I would be off fucking trapping and tricking and fucking getting high.
This part coming up, I just wanted to include because it's been scrubbed since I originally saw it and screen grabbed it. So I wanted to include it because if there is a thing where she tries to lie and say, oh, I've never been high on camera or whatever, like I do have stuff from the past that I've used, but I want to use something more recent because this was only a few weeks ago.
Go there.
Whoa. I'm just gonna sign off for you. Hey guys, she got really excited because Ashley was out and discovered that she had aged up a bit and was capable of saying some words that she wasn't able to before.
Or some stuff I wasn't supposed to say.
And got really excited and wanted to share that with you guys, but in the kitties, I would call her, kitties are loving on her because they know she's sick. But in the process, I think she got a little too excited and got a little nauseated because we've both actually been sick.
I don't feel I really need to address her laughing and saying, ha 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 ha. If I was on drugs, I wouldn't be here making videos. I'd be out tricking and trapping, and she can use as many of these words that she wants, but we've blatantly seen drug abuse on film. Like, you blatantly nodded off and tried to call it a sleep attack, but I mean, come on, like, you know what I mean? So you have, and you've even said, like, you even admitted to not being clean. So that kind of doesn't feel like, if I was doing drugs, please, I'd be out being a prostitute. I wouldn't be here making videos. But you have and you do. So that doesn't really line up at all. It doesn't make sense. And that's not, like, it would make sense if you were never incapacitated or drunk or high on camera, but you have been, and you like have been for a long time, so that doesn't really work.
I asked my mom if I could stay with her today for an extended period of time. I even said that I was in an abusive relationship and that I was more depressed than I ever have been in my life. I even went on to write at least 5 paragraphs about my disorder and how I want to, I don't know, how much I hated it and everything. And she said no, because she needs to feel safe in her own home, and my flashbacks don't make her feel safe.
I have so much to say about this specifically, but I'm going to try to make it quick. One, a person setting boundaries for their own safety based on past actions of a drug addict who probably stole things, and a person who has something going on mentally where they are probably violent and maybe lied a lot or did a lot of these things. A person setting boundaries for their own safety does not make them a bad person, does not make them a bad parent, it does not make them anything but a survivor and a human being. That being said, the fact that you're willing to go to the extreme to say, I'm in an abusive relationship, help me, to try to manipulate your parent into doing what they're not comfortable with, is probably one of the reasons why they said, no, you can't move back in with them. So you can try to demonize Mama Bear all you want, but that decision is probably one of the best that she could make for herself and her own safety in her own life. So, and when we take a look back to see, like, maybe why their mother came to this decision, or maybe why this person is not a good person at all, or maybe possibly a very dangerous person who is also a liar, all you have to do is look back on stories that they've told and things that they are proud of. One of which that particularly irked me was where they aggressively almost killed a homeless person because they shook their cup at them, where they aggressively were gonna, like, ran their car to, she'll tell you, here you go.
Do things like this. I'd seen him do this. And so he was standing at the corner of the street right off the exit of the freeway, and he was like shaking his cup. He's always like really aggressive. He like shakes his cup at people. And he like shook his cup at me, and I was just super triggered, and this was Damien. And oh, this is so embarrassing to talk about. But I like played chicken with the guy with my car because I wanted to scare him. Like, I wasn't gonna hit him, but I wanted to scare the shit out of him. Like, I wanted him to, yeah. So anyway, I turned my wheel and I like start driving towards the sidewalk where he was at. And he like jumped away, and then I started laughing, and then he threw his cup at my car, and then I threw it in reverse, and then I pretended to hit, like I was gonna hit him again in reverse. So talk about out of control. That was out of control. And Rexy was in the front seat with me, with Damien, and Damien was laughing maniacally, and then got mad at Rexy for being scared, and yelled at him for being scared. So yeah, that's a story
so
for
yeah, maybe you're saying, oh, this is embarrassing, or oh, that's out of control, and you're saying that you're not proud of it, but you're happy enough to have it be the reason that people are attracted to your channel, people look up to you, or people want to associate with you, is because of those actions. And day in and day out, people, especially her and other people, will tell people that mental illness or whatever your disorder is not an excuse for your actions. But basically what she does is just figure out that it's the reason why she's doing things, and then make no attempt to change. Just say, oh wow, that was Damien, or oh wow, that happened, or oh wow, that person's abusive, and then make no attempt to better herself at all. Just make these little fun YouTube videos and say, oh, it's totally not fun, or it's totally whatever, but then still want to be that DID idol for people. I feel like at the very least, if you really want to set an example when you're going through times of extreme turmoil and extreme struggle with your mental health, and you're doing things that are not okay, that are damaging to yourself and to others, that do nothing but stigmatize your disorder, then maybe you should take a break. I mean, you can say it's ableist of me to say that, but I think that especially when all that stuff was going on, did social media and making YouTube videos help her mental health at all? Or did they just add fuel to the fire of constantly giving something for people to say, so people always have something to say because you're very clearly spiraling? And it is not my intention to shame someone who is spiraling, because I don't see spiraling behavior. I see manipulation.
Yeah, so and then I was let off on a year of unsupervised probation after giving someone 12 stitches like in their face. And so if you're trying to tell me that I'm a bad person and I attacked her for no reason, that's not true. Like, the evidence is there. I was let off on a year with unsupervised probation. Like, I was attacked. It was self-defense. I didn't want to take it to trial, and neither did they. So we settled on a year. Like, that's so dumb. Then it was dropped from a felony assault to a misdemeanor. So
I promise this might be the last little nitpicky thing that I just say after the fact, but this is one of those things that you have to think about other than the scope than what she is telling you. Because all she's doing is just saying, hey, I got let off on probation. That means I wasn't guilty. That means it was self-defense. Not true. You need to research things a little bit more. So her being let off on probation, taking a probationary sentence instead of going to trial, means that you must plead guilty for the crime that you commit. Because you're saying, yes, I did it, and instead of going to trial, I'm going to take a lesser probationary sentence. It happens literally every day with people who get DUIs, light drug offenses, or their first violent offense, okay? Her getting unsupervised probation just means that was probably her first offense, so she was not deemed a very large risk. And like, if like it happened in a bar and this and that or whatever, but like, you can't just say, oh, look, I only got probation. That means that it was self-defense and I'm not guilty. When in fact, you have to plead guilty to take that probationary before judgment sentence. So.
Therapist told me that was one of the very first things. And he also told me that if I was faking, I would be the best actress in the world, is what he said. He said, you can't just change your handwriting. You just can't do that. You know?
Almost a year and a half of therapy, and by a specialist who I don't pay because I can't pay, and he's in the end of his career right now, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to use my story somehow and maybe write a book, or I don't really know, but he's
honestly, with seeing the screenshots of her journal that she posted, any belief in legitimacy of her disorder, specifically DID, not BPD or anything else, but specifically DID, I think any legitimacy that I saw there might be is completely gone. Because basically what she shows is a screenshot of her writing in a journal, and like a paragraph is written by one author and then another paragraph is written by a different author. And that's supposed to be the evidence of her. She even said her therapist said that you'd be the best actress on earth. Not all people can change their handwriting. But then she shows her journal. And even if this person who diagnosed her is a doctor, he's not a graphologist, which is the study of handwriting. And it's kind of clear to see, like, if you mildly study, like, I'm not a graphologist or anything, but I am interested in it, and certain letters are very, like, important in identifying a person's signature, like a person's handwriting, and, like, you can very clearly see that, like, all she did was write in plain print and then write in cursive with a little bit of difference, and a different colored pen, I think. I don't even remember. And try to pass it off as different. And she's mentioned before that the man who diagnosed her is nearing the end of his career. So honestly, I think it's a really, really old guy that this very, very young person was able to manipulate and trick, because there have been many, many instances and cases of her doing the same thing to other people of authority, like her assault case, that she wears like a badge of honor, that one, she's a badass, and then two, that she didn't do anything wrong because all she got was probation, which has no bearing on your guilt or innocence. Okay. For my final thoughts, very clearly it is the next day, it is daylight, I look different, my room probably looks way messier, my hair is straight, I have makeup on that's, honestly, it's this white eyeliner. If I have anything to say, don't buy this white eyeliner. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. Final thoughts. So when I was gonna make this video, like 2 months ago, it was gonna be like, kind of like a different tone, where I was still gonna like point out the things that I had a problem with, but then I was gonna talk about how it seems like, you know, getting clean, like trying to say, hey, I'm not an educator, like this person seemed to be doing things that were healthy steps in the right direction towards, you know, being a better person. And then a lot of the stuff that I put in this video showed up. So basically, what it seems to me is that, like a lot of people, like maybe she learned something from a lot of what people were saying and tried to apply to her actions, but then very quickly reverted back to just doing the same stuff. With a sex and DID video, it's like, you know, the question that's going to be asked is going to be about, you know, the questions that she's getting asked, right? So it's just a continuation pretty much of the same behavior. And since, honestly, if you're not even really going to be that original in like your bad behavior, I feel like I've pretty much covered it, you know, in my videos. At least the facets of the behaviors that are going to happen is, I feel like, you know, the outright baiting of people who enjoy doing inappropriate things with children. Outright. Of course, OnlyFans will never come after her for that or anything, because she is still an adult. And all she's doing is just, oh, it's just play. Oh, it's just play. It's not a big deal. It's just teasing. So nobody's ever really going to hold her accountable for that, unless they really start making some terms of usage changes in OnlyFans, where people can't do that anymore. Like, you can't call your ex because he's into diaper stuff a freak, when like your friends and you are also into those same types of things. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? So, moral of the story, there is no moral of the story, because morality has not been shown to be important to this person. So I'm assuming they're pretty much going to go along very much as they have, blaming their mental illness for things that they don't want to take accountability for, denying other things outright, and then just wiping their shoulders off and continuing to just give people, not only with DID, a bad name, but people who have borderline personality, people who have OSDD, people who like have CPTSD. You're just giving them a bad name. So honestly, wholeheartedly, I don't believe in like canceling and just deplatforming people unless they're really hurting a lot of people and doing a lot of harm. And so as much harm as she is doing, she is very much small fish, I guess. You know what I mean? Chris Hansen's really not looking for her anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna pretty much cap the series where it is. Like, I have video of some other stuff on my phone. Like, I'm probably gonna continue to just like keep up with like what, you know, but it's just not like, the person's not gonna change. And constructive criticism, as my videos are, because I'm not one of these people who's just like, she's just a B word, she's just a this, nasty, I'm not like that. So if you can put your ego aside, if she could put her ego aside, watch my videos for the things that I have said that are wrong, and take that and then apply it to her life, then there would be some progress made. But that's not really what people are interested. Come on, let's be serious. We all know people aren't interested in that. People don't want to get better. They just want validation that what they're doing is right, even if other people say it's wrong. So, oh God, my makeup is so lopsided, but this white eyeliner doesn't come off. Like, bro, it'll be on until Sunday. Today is Friday. Oh. Anyway, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, like, I'm kind of just done. Like, I've said the things that I have to say. If I want to make another video, I will. If I don't, I won't. Like, but I appreciate you for watching. If you made it to this end of this video, honestly, congrats, because I do that and I congratulate myself every time I watch a long video. So congrats. All my social media will be in the description. Let me know topics you think I should talk about. Maybe if you think I forgot anything or didn't mention something that was really important, or hey, you're totally way off base. Nothing they're doing is wrong. They're an angel. Either way, honestly, anything you got, anything you want, anything you got. So, I don't know, I'm kind of spaced out. I've been watching Amelia fart videos for the last like 2 hours because I didn't really know who she was until she just quit YouTube, I think, apparently like a day ago. So I'm gonna get back to doing that and cap this video off so I can actually finish it, because this was the last thing I had to do before I could finish editing and then post it. So stay frosty. I don't know.